In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is Joe, my husband.
Hello.
Hello. You right there?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm drinking yesterday's wine. It's a bit depressing.
Well, it was nice wine yesterday, is it not nice today?
It's all right.
I'm no longer off the booze, but I'm actually drinking fruit juice right now.
And I am finishing off the bottle of wine that we didn't finish last night because that's what we've become.
Yeah.
People who can't finish a bottle of wine.
Well, that's because I had my first glass of wine since New Year and felt, frankly, a little bit wibbly.
You need to toughen up, princess.
I know. I have a lager to have shortly with the pizza because I've just come back from circus class and I'm thoroughly bruised and ready for a lager.
Mm.
And Joe's been to Kung Fu.
Fu.
Right then.
Right.
This is episode 8 of the podcast.
Episode 8. They go by so fast.
Yes, they do. This is all about why I don't have time is a crock of shit.
Okay.
Because you hear people quite often, and I include myself in this, I'm totally guilty of it, say, oh, I haven't got time to do that. But let me ask you something, Joe. How much time do you have in a day?
Oh, this feels like the scripted bit because I reckon I've got the same amount of time as everybody else.
Yes, you do. We do. See, Joe says it's a scripted bit and he is mocking me, but I just would like you to know that it's not completely random rambling. I do have a vague plan for each podcast.
It's pretty vague though, isn't it?
No, it's not vague. There's a specific strategy running through the whole thing.
Okay.
Specific strategy. But yes, I did want to make the point that we all have the same amount of time. 1,440 minutes. How many seconds?
60 times that many?
Do it in your head quick.
No.
86,400 seconds, fact fans. That's how many seconds you have in a day. And we all have the same amount of time. But the thing about, how many times have you said, somebody has asked you to do something or invited you to do something and your answer is, oh, I haven't got time to do that?
Quite a lot, I guess.
Because what it actually means is, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, that's not a priority right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's a Facebook page called Very British Problems, which is hilariously accurate. If you're British, you will just be like, yes, that's exactly true. And if you're not British, you'll be like, British people are weird. But it's very, very funny. And I also love its little Facebook profile picture because it's a little white umbrella on a black background and it's lovely. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with anything. It just pleases me. But I've lost my thread entirely now.
Yeah. I'm now.
Oh yeah, so they post they post things that British people do. So when faced with leaving an answer phone message, you panic and hang up.
Or when somebody stands on your foot, you apologise to them.
Yeah, or when your neighbour takes a parcel for you and you have to go knock on the door. That's just horrifying. This is very British problems. But one of the things is
we've got a parcel on the bottom of the stairs for somebody.
I know. The guy came around the other day as well, and I didn't realise that there was another parcel for him.
What, really?
No, he came around for a different parcel. I didn't realise there were 2.
Man.
You hid it.
He thinks we've stolen it.
No, he doesn't. I'll take it around tomorrow, maybe. Anyway, the point I was going to make about Very British Problems is that they say, if you're asked to do something and you say, oh, I might see you there, what it actually means is, I'm going to be sitting on the sofa in my pyjamas.
I'm not going to see you there.
Not going to see you there, yeah. And in very extreme circumstances, it means I would rather poke pins in my eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's kind of the same thing when you say, I haven't got time to do that. It means one of two things. Either it means that you really don't want to do it, or it means that everything is really chaotic and you're really overwhelmed, which I'll come to in a minute. But I wanted to kind of make a point, because we all have exactly the same amount of time, including those annoying people who are super productive and the ones who get like shitloads done, the type of people that always...
Not me.
Woo! Yeah, okay, not you.
Charming.
But... everyone knows somebody who seems to do, a million things and do them well. And you just kind of think, when do you sleep? I don't know. Anyway, they have the same amount of time as we do, but they're more motivated, possibly. Very productive. But, you make time for the things that you really want to do. If I decide that, I might decide that I don't have time to clean the bathroom, but I'll find time to have a soak in the bath with a good book that I could have spent cleaning the bathroom, because nobody wants to clean the bathroom, which is why I have a cleaner. And, I don't have time to go to that party, but I can go to my circus class, that's fine. Or I haven't got time to do something for, to meet with a new client who's a prospective client, but I've got time to, sit around and read a book. And that, by the way, isn't because I'm lazy and shit at running a business. It's because I'm quite happy with the number of clients I have at the moment. I don't want any new ones. I thought I should throw that in there as a kind of... Yeah, it is nice. So here is my first request of you, dear listener. Be honest about the fact that you have got time, you just don't want to do it and you haven't prioritised it. If you acknowledge that, you will feel a big weight lifted from your shoulders. Maybe.
Don't create excuses for not doing things. Just choose not to do them and feel all right with that.
Yes, that is very good advice. And, especially if it's something that actually needs doing, I'll come to that in a second. But if it's something that, somebody else has placed an obligation on you and made your problem, then you don't have to do all of the things that people want you to do. And instead of just saying, I haven't got time, it's much better to be honest and say, actually, no, I'm not going to do this. And, own it and be okay with it. Because most of the time, people will understand, as long as you're not an arsehole about it. It's good for people to be told no sometimes.
Particularly if the person you're telling that to is yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Be honest.
Oh, God, I'm the worst person for it as well. So I'm just looking at my to-do list for today. And actually, today's been a bit of a bust anyway, because we're putting an offer on a house. If you've been following my daily emails, you'll know about the Dingle saga.
The many dingles.
The many dingles, Dingle 1 and Dingle 2. And we've put in an offer. Well, we put in an offer on one Dingle and it was rejected, which we thought it would be. And then we've put in an offer on Dingle 2 and we're quite excited. But that basically means that my head has been all over the place today.
Buying a house, folks.
Yeah.
Distracting.
It is distracting. And it's stressful. And we've not even really started yet.
Yeah.
But I have got a solicitor, though. That's quite exciting.
Yeah. Got a quote for a solicitor.
Got a mortgage in principle.
No 2 houses that we'd quite like to live in.
Yeah. It's good.
It's progress.
So, yeah, I have found time today to do all of those things, but funnily enough, didn't have time to do...
Looking at the list.
Yeah, a couple of videos that I want to record, a rewrite of a bunch of emails, and a bit of yoga. I did practice my guitar.
You did go to circus.
I did go to circus, that's good. And we kind of chose a dingle.
We did choose a dingle.
And I emailed the solicitor. So that's not bad.
It's not bad.
But I didn't do the things that I should have been doing for my business, because today was a my business day.
Yeah.
And that's important as well. That's another thing that I wanted to mention. A lot of, you get a lot of like internet marketing gurus and they're all like, oh, everything's perfect all the time.
Everything's brilliant.
Yeah. And you don't see behind the scenes where people's heads are exploding.
Check out my new Maserati.
Yeah. And I think it just makes you feel a bit inadequate when you see perfect people being perfect all the time, running perfect businesses.
But they're just showing you that.
Yeah,
that's the projection of success.
Yeah. But I think I would rather be honest. I would rather be the kind of person that falls flat on my face in a bowling alley. That's never happened in real life.
2 days ago.
Shop. So yeah, there you go. Don't want to do something, don't do it, basically.
Don't pretend you've got an excuse.
Just don't do it.
Just choose not to do it.
However, if it's something that you need doing, that needs to be done, don't just ditch it, because, you can't just go around not filling in your tax returns.
This is true.
That will get you into trouble at some point. Unless you leave the country and go somewhere with a non-extradition treaty, and that just sounds like way more hassle than doing your tax return.
I'm not sure.
It depends where you go, I suppose.
Bermuda's nice.
We are emphatically not advising you to not do your tax return and leave the country. That is a massive disclaimer in capital letters. If this were written down, and in fact, Harriet, when you transcribe this, can you please transcribe this bit in capital letters? Do not tax dodge and leave the country. That's that out of the way.
And if you choose to do that, don't try and blame it on us.
Yeah, it's got naffle to do with us. So yeah, I'm not advising that if it's stuff that needs doing that you just don't do it, because that's ridiculous. If it's personal life recreational stuff, don't beat yourself up about it, that's fine. But business stuff is a totally different kettle of worms. And it really grates my carrot when people say they don't have time for marketing. It's complete bollocks. And it's dangerous bollocks, and not like dangerous as in, you might get eaten by a shark, but you might get eaten by a loan shark.
Might get eaten by a loan shark. Nice.
Oh, that's a total headline. That's a total headline for some point. Okay, there you go, people. I've given you a free headline. Don't get eaten by a loan shark. Do your marketing. Yeah. So yeah, you do have time to do your marketing, and in fact you should make time to do your marketing. But what I think people mean, business owners mean, when they say they don't have time to do marketing, which I hear a lot, by the way, they actually mean that they're overwhelmed with all the shit that they have to do and they don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. And they can't put anything down. They're constantly fighting fires all the time, which is exactly what I was like when I started my business for the first year or so, wasn't I? Yeah,
you did shed loads of hours. And yeah, it was all quite spinny, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I was doing everything myself. And that's the way you start when you start a business. I'm not saying that you should immediately have staff unless you run a coffee shop, in which case you probably should have some staff. But eventually you get to the point where you've just got too much to do for you, and your business suffers. Because if we're talking 80-20 terms, so 20% of you get 80% of the results from 20% of your actions. And you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time and that kind of thing.
Make 80% of your money off 20% of the clients.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true for me. And it will be true for you as well if you do the numbers. It won't be exactly 80-20, but it'll be, more or less. It's the same for you guys with your business as well, isn't it?
Big number, small number.
Big number, small number. So marketing is one of those 20% activities. It's one of the activities that you should be putting most of your effort into, basically. So if you're not having time to do marketing, then you need to fix that, because at some point, one of the reasons that so many freelancers, I'm talking from a freelance perspective, but this also goes for other businesses as well. One of the reasons why small business owners, particularly freelancers, struggle with the feast and famine thing is because they will do a bit of marketing, get a load of clients, get the work done, and then they'll have no clients. And then they'll have to market themselves. And it's this stressful cycle of
boom and bust and income and famine and horrible.
Yeah. And there are always, there are always going to be fat times and fallow times, relatively speaking. But the feast and famine side of things is an awful way to live your life and run a business. And I know it is because I've been there. And, I was perhaps a bit luckier because you had a job that was a good job.
Yes.
So it wasn't just me on my own and I wasn't totally reliant. But, we didn't do all the things that we wanted to do in my first year or so of business.
It was a dry year, wasn't it?
And it was worth it because I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It taught us all about the joys of beans on toast.
Yes, yeah.
Cheap wine.
Baked potatoes and very, very cheap wine.
Yeah. It's character building.
But not do that again.
No, but the point is, it's unsustainable. And at the point where I realised that was the point where I joined one of my mentoring groups. And I couldn't really afford to do it at the time. And I, by the way, wouldn't necessarily recommend this either. Don't spend your last pennies on any mentoring group, including my own. But you can join if you like. If you get to the point where you realise that something needs to change and you need to do things differently, the pain becomes such that it's more painful to carry on the way you are than it is to make a change.
It's difficult to acknowledge that, though, isn't it? Because if you see the money coming in as a result of you putting lots of hours in, then the temptation is to put more hours in and hopefully more money will come.
Yeah, but as we've just pointed out, we've all got the same 24 hours in a day and you can't spend all of them working. You do need to sleep at some point and eat and spend time with your family because, I've seen... Well, I haven't seen firsthand. It hasn't happened to anybody that I specifically know, but I know it happens a lot that people who run businesses, their relationships break down, and because it's very, very stressful. If you're spending all of your time on your work and you're always on your emails and you're, always in the office late, you're always out doing all of the things, and you never see your other half, and you never see your kids.
And you're always worried about money.
You're always worried about money. It's not a very pleasant situation for anybody involved in your life. So you owe it to yourself and your family to get off your ass and get some marketing done and make time for it. Really do need to make time for it. And this is like harsh truths day here, because, if you're not, if your business is not doing as well as it should be, it's nobody's fault but yours. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week because I've got a big rant lined up. The point is that not everything that happens to you is not necessarily your fault. And in fact, in many cases, it's not. But if your business is not doing well and you're not bringing in enough money, that is your fault. There are no... there's no excuses for this stuff.
Harsh.
It is harsh, but it's true. All of the failures that I made are totally my failures. But that's another important thing. You need to own this stuff. You need to look at it and say, okay, I fucked up there. What do I learn from it? Because the little failures are the useful ones.
Not just bouncing wrong, blaming somebody else and circumstance and other people and bad clients and bad advice and all that other stuff you could blame it on.
Yeah, because ultimately you invite into your business the people that you end up with. And it's if a client screws you over, that's not your fault. But the fact that they were there in the first place is down to the way you marketed yourself, or didn't market yourself, as the case may be. In more cases, I would think.
Yeah. When in these podcasts are we going to talk about the worst client in the world?
Oh, I don't know. Not in this one.
Not in this one?
No, not in this one.
Okay. We'll save that one for future.
Yeah, we'll do another one. But yeah, I mean, you are... If you're not getting stuff done, it's your fault, basically. If I'm not getting stuff done, it's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. And my problem, by the way, my biggest problem is procrastination, and I'm just ridiculously distractible. It's awful. Joe is nodding sagely.
I am nodding sagely. Very distractible. The fact that we have two very demanding cats doesn't really help. They need letting in, then they need letting out, then they need letting in. Neither of our cats have figured out how to use the cat flap.
Yeah,
despite weeks of trying to train the cats to use the cat flap.
If anybody can teach my cats how to use a cat flap, I will give you free access to one of my training courses. That is an actual offer. If anyone can teach our cats to use a cat flap.
Yeah.
And my training courses are really good, and that's a really good offer.
It is a really good offer.
Yeah.
And I've watched the YouTube. Don't go sending us to YouTube videos, because we've watched them all and it doesn't work with our cats.
Yeah. Our cats are special.
You can't put them on one side of the door and just wait until they figure it out.
No. Doesn't work like that. Well, not for ours anyway.
Stupid cats.
Anyway. My point is, our point is harsh truth.
I'm here too.
Yeah. A harsh truth today. If you're not getting your stuff done, it's down to you. So, while it's your fault, I don't want you to feel bad about it either, because we all do it. And I've said, I'm terrible for not getting stuff done. Part of the problem is giving yourself too much to do in a day, by the way. Stop doing that, because I know you do it, because we all do it. And I'm going to take my own advice at some point.
Vicky's lists are legendary. She has lists of lists, and on tomorrow's list there will be 600 things that need doing.
This is tomorrow's list. I've done half of it. This was a 2-day list. In fairness, I'm pointing at my list now that is quite long, but it was a 2-day list, so that was fine.
This is my skeptical face.
You can take your skeptical face over there. Anyway. So yeah, don't feel bad about it, because whilst it is your fault, we all do it, and it's human nature. So you do have to step up and take responsibility for your actions or lack thereof. And I suggest that you start by making a list, because whilst Joe mocks me, lists are really important things, because when you write things down, they become tangible and real. When you are feeling overwhelmed, the absolute best thing you can do, the first best thing you can do is step away from whatever it is that you're doing and go for a walk or do a bit of yoga or whatever it is that you do to...
Tickle your cat.
Yeah, to calm down. But the second thing that you need to do is write down... That's Joe pouring the last of yesterday's wine.
The last of yesterday's wine, folks.
The second thing you need to do after you've stepped away from your overwhelmed plate spinning is write down all of the things that you need to do, because that immediately makes the tasks seem a little bit less frightening. Because once they're written down, it's just words on paper and you're kind of like, okay, I can see what I need to do. Then you can start prioritising it. In fact, there's a whole chapter in my book devoted to getting more stuff done. So if you haven't read my book yet, first of all, I'm shocked and hurt. And so...
Offended. Outraged.
Oh, I'm going out of my way to be offended.
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, you can get yourself a copy, by the way, at www.businessforsuperheroes.com. And it'll arrive within a couple of days, because they have been delivered now.
Is it available as a Kindle book?
It is available as a Kindle book. You can search Business for Superheroes on Amazon and you will find the Kindle book. And when you get your copy of my esteemed book, which I'm told is very, very good. I don't know, I haven't read it. I'm just kidding. Turn directly to chapter 3, page 51, and do the stuff in that chapter and start getting more shit done. Because whilst you might think you're busy enough and you don't need to get more stuff done, I suspect that's not true. The whole point of the exercise in the book is to identify the stuff that you have to do and the stuff that you don't have to do and the stuff that you shouldn't bother with at all. Because there's always that. And then you prioritise it and you get it done. So it's basically dividing stuff into important or urgent or a combination thereof. And you want everything to be... You want your to-do list to basically be in the important section.
But not urgent.
But not urgent, because the urgent stuff is the time killer stuff. It's the stuff that pops up, and it's usually other people's priorities. 9 times out of 10, it's other people's priorities. Or it's that you've left your tax return until January the 30th.
and then you're an idiot. You should have done it a while ago.
Well, you say that, but a lot of people do it because it's really fucking boring, which is why I have an accountant, kids. Get an accountant. Because the other thing is, it's really complicated. Anyway, so yeah, you'll want to divide your stuff into... I basically think that you should write a list of all of the stuff that you've got to do and categorize it as important, urgent and urgent, or...
Not important.
Yeah.
There's 4 zones, isn't there? There's important and not important, then there's urgent and not urgent.
Yeah, this is one of those things that's much better to look at physically. This is not just me trying to flog my book to you. This is me saying it will make much more sense if you...
Get a blank piece of paper and divide it into 4 with 2 straight lines.
Yeah, all right, it's not that complicated.
Not complicated.
No. So you divide your stuff into important and or urgent, or a combination thereof, or the opposite.
You are not making this easier.
No. Anyway, important, urgent, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to stop saying those words now.
Yeah.
And then you prioritise your stuff and you get rid of all the stuff that's important. You get that done. You stop doing the stuff that's in the not important and not urgent column because that's where that's where you're checking your sister's baby photos on Facebook, and that's just a waste of everybody's time. I'm not saying never do it, but do it at like 9 p.m, not when you're working. And the other stuff is just, get it done when it needs doing. And the earlier you get it done, then you can build in extra time to deal with the crises that will inevitably crop up, because they do. But you don't want to be fighting fires all the time. You're not looking convinced, Joe.
No, I am looking convinced.
Okay, cool. And, the way to do this, the way that I did it, is to outsource as much stuff as you can, because the more stuff you can outsource in your business, the simple stuff, the more time you will have to grow your business, to spend on marketing, to finding, to find the type of clients that you want to work with, who will bring you in more money and give you more time to spend time with your friends and your family and, hanging around on a trapeze. And, I started off by outsourcing my bookkeeping to my amazing Harriet, who is my virtual assistant.
Hello, Harriet.
Hi, Harriet. And she now does all of my blogging and my social media posts and whatnot. She doesn't actually write my blogs, by the way. I do that. She takes them from my daily emails and all sorts of places, but she does all the publishing and the scheduling and the techie stuff, because that takes up, it all adds up to hours a week. And it's a massive waste of my time, because it's not time that I'm earning money or building my business.
Yeah, you're not earning money on clients, you're not building your business, you're not strategizing and thinking, you're just pointing and clicking and moving things around. Yeah,
and Harriet does a much better job of it than I do.
Yeah.
Because she's dedicated to doing it. So she does all that stuff for me. And she also does my spreadsheets, and she transcribes my Inner Circle teleclasses, and she transcribes these podcasts for me, and she pushes them out there and Harriet helps to grow my business. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
if anybody wants a virtual assistant.
Yeah, anyone wants a virtual assistant, give me a shout and I'll put you in touch with Harriet, because she's ace.
Yeah, cool.
And she's lovely. And I get far more done now that I'm working with her, because I can concentrate on my Small Business Superheroes Inner Circle, which is the part of my business that is for small businesses to help them grow. I really enjoy that part. And I have more time to spend on my private client work. I can have fewer private clients, because that stuff is what brings the money in. And, the stuff Harriet does for me is vital, but it's not, like you said, it's not the stuff that earns the money. So it needs doing, but it doesn't need doing by me. And that's the point. Only do what only you can do is a really good mantra. And I'm very much aware that you can't outsource everything straight away, because you don't have the money to do it. So just pick something small. If you don't have an accountant, for God's sake, get an accountant, because a good one will save you more money than you spend on them anyway. If you do your own bookkeeping, outsource it, because, just send all your...
Unless you're a bookkeeper.
Unless you're a bookkeeper, yeah, in which case. But no, even if you're a bookkeeper, outsource it, because you spend loads of time on your own shit when you should be spending time on building your business. Anyway, that's possibly debatable. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can outsource. Don't try and design your own brochures if you're not a designer.
That is a massive waste of time.
Oh man, I thought the other day, I was like, I'm going to design business cards, because I've got some really cool graphics, and I'm not completely devoid of...
I can draw lines in paint.
I sat there for 10 minutes, and then I was like, Julia, can you make me some business cards, please? So, yeah.
Graphic designers, Julia.
Yeah, Julia King Creative is awesome. She did my book cover and my avatar and my podcast.
We love the Julia.
Picture. She's ace. And she's about to put her prices up, folks, so...
Get in now.
So, yeah, my point with all this, and Joe's point with all this, is that your business is there to serve you, not the other way around. You shouldn't be living to run your business. It shouldn't
Don't be a slave to your own business.
No, God, no. It should be there to serve your needs and give you the kind of lifestyle that you want. That's Noodle. Say hi, Noodle. Noodle totally agrees with that because he doesn't want me working all the time. He wants, knees to sit on. So my takeaways this week are, A, if you haven't bought my book, do so. Not just because it'll make me smile, which it will, but it will genuinely help you out if you take action. People have told me how helpful my book has been, which is really nice. That's what really puts a smile on my face. Do the exercises in chapter 3. Identify the important versus urgent stuff, prioritise and make a plan, because that will also have the not inconsiderable effect of making you feel less panicky about getting everything done.
Own the stuff that you are saying no to.
Yeah.
Understand why you are saying no. Say no. Stop feeling panicky and flustered about it.
Yeah. Do it unapologetically as well.
Just let it go.
Yeah. You are entitled to your time. You don't owe your time to everybody else. I'm not saying never help anybody out at all, but you are entitled to your time. And if what somebody is asking you to do is something that they could do themselves or, that really messes you up.
That they should have done a month ago.
That they should have done a month ago. Yeah, that's it. I've got 2 good quotes here. Not my circus, not my monkeys is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And, somebody else's poor planning does not constitute an emergency on your part. It's
true.
Harsh, but true. And you don't help people out either by doing stuff for them like that because they will come to expect it. If you make them fix it themselves, they'll be far more equipped to deal with life in the future.
And if they learn that you will pick up all of the pieces at 9 o'clock on a Friday night.
That's what you'll be doing.
After they've fucked up.
That is what you will be doing at 9 o'clock on a Friday night.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah. So...
if there's any scuffling going on, it's Noodle looking for a knee.
So, yeah. Look at what you can outsource as well. Start small because it is an investment of cash and you won't want to outsource a lot of stuff at once. But, pick something small, outsource it, save yourself a few hours. Gradually, you'll be able to up that more and more. I've got, I could do all of my podcast stuff myself, but I don't. I pay Podfly guys to fix it all and do my show notes and stuff, and they do a great job.
Hello, Podfly guys. We like you.
Yeah, thanks, Podfly guys. You guys are great. I don't think I've mentioned them before, actually. I'm on episode 8, and I haven't mentioned them before. That's appalling.
That's terrible. They're great.
They are great. Thank you, guys. I think you're doing a splendid job, and I'm really enjoying the podcast as well. So
yeah, we just sit here and drink wine and talk nonsense for a bit, and then you make it all happen. It's cool.
Yeah. So dear listener, when you start doing your own podcast, if you start doing your own podcasts, don't do them if you don't like them and enjoy them. But I can thoroughly recommend Podfly. They're fab. There's a lot of recommendations in this one. I should call this the recommendation episode. Yeah,
we love Julia, we love Harriet, we love the Podfly guys.
Yeah.
Anybody else needs to get a mention?
Don't think so.
Okay.
That's cool. So yeah, that's it really. Read my book, outsource some stuff, prioritise your tasks, make time for marketing. If you don't make time for marketing, your business will not grow. And recognise that you do have time, and if it is important, you will make time for it.
And don't be afraid to say no.
Yeah, don't be afraid to say no.
No is a complete sentence.
It is. So all that's left to say is, as per usual, if you would like to join me and my superheroes in my inner circle, you should go to businessforsuperheroes.com/inner-circle and join us. It's fab, so I'm told. And it is fab. It's great. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. So next week, same time next week, we're going to be talking about how the universe doesn't give a shit about you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's been some swearing in this one. Does that mean it gets like an explicit rather than a parental guidance?
Yeah, put explicit on this one. Thanks very much, Joe.
No worries, Vix.
Over and out.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.